Hello, everyone. My name is Leo, also known as my business, of course, being Rosales Super Tech. Just recently started this business, I would say, back in November. I started investing little by little here in some equipment that would allow me to accomplish what it is I'm seeking to get done with repairing consoles. Initially, what the idea was to actually repair mobile devices, but I found it that wasn't the right way for me to start learning how to do any type of board work. Board work meaning a PCB board work like soldering, desoldering, soldering, or replacing any type of IC chip within the actual boards themselves. So it's a lot easier for me to work on any PCB board when it's larger and components are bigger than microscopic components that normally a mobile device would have. So I changed the direction. Once I feel, well, I already feel comfortable, but once I feel that I'm ready to start working on mobile devices, like for example, this is one of the projects I invested $35 on a iPhone 6 Plus. I can still fix this. It's just way too small for me, and maybe I didn't have the right tips at the time, and I probably still don't have the right tips because that requires for you to have a tip that can desolder or solder a microscopic component within the actual PCB board. And at the time, I was watching the YouTube channels Jess STS Telecom, which is Jason. Who else? I've also seen what is this other gentleman's name? Oh man, I don't want to forget it. But I've watched several channels basically so that I can gain the knowledge from them. But the only way I can learn is by actually doing the work versus just watching. So I decided to invest some of my own money into some of the mobile devices and found out that they were just too small. So I decided to change the direction to console devices. And console devices, I feel, I would say 1,000% more comfortable. And I've already repaired multiple devices that I invested money into. And now I'm actually also doing it for other people, customers that would want for me to go ahead and do some, PCB work done for them. For example, retimer chips, HDMI ports, and so on and so forth. That being said, I've got a customer's Xbox here, Xbox One X, that he would want for me to change the retimer chip on. He also did supply his own retimer chip, so I need to validate that the retimer chip he provided is the one that's compatible for the Xbox One X, because there's two different ones that are being sold, one for the S, one for the X. So I just need to validate that, in fact, this one is compatible with this one. If not, I do have some myself. That being said, we're going to go ahead and get this Xbox taken apart. I'm sure a lot of you have already probably seen this before, this process. So I'm going to speed through the breakdown process and then get back to you once I have the full board in front of me. Alrighty. Alrighty, so we are done to the board. We have confirmed that the retimer chip the customer sent is the same one. Flux, best friend, you can have. Oh, this entire time I was not displaying. My apologies. So let's just replace this retimer chip to see if in fact this is the reason why. We'll test right afterwards. And if that doesn't work, then we'll validate the actual HDMI port right afterwards. Just put some flux. The only reason why I'm putting flux in here is just to allow the flow of unleaded solder to flow better, hence also allowing me to desolder or remove. And I'm shaking too much right now. Why am I shaking? Why am I nervous? Is it because this is my first time actually recording on camera, doing one of my jobs that eventually, hopefully, a few of you guys will actually see and criticize me. Alright, let's get my air gun on. Settings, I believe I've got it in the right one. Let me turn on my soldering iron on as well. Okay, everything's on. Time to get this removed. I did forget to see where. Okay, I see the point there. So it is facing. Letters facing that way. Letters facing upwards. Okay. Excuse me. This lead solder is a little bit more difficult to melt, and it is a bigger board as well. Come on. There we go. The timer chip is removed. Now we got to reduce the melting temperature. We have to reduce the melting temperature for the solder points here. Let's add some flux. And I know it's a little bit too bright for you, too shiny for you guys. All I'm going to do right now is just reduce the melting temperature. Oh, and I forgot, my apologies here, to turn on my, which makes it a little bit difficult for me to actually work with. I'm using this, it's a Kodo, this little device here. It's fume extractor. I don't, unfortunately, can't afford one of those that I could put at the bottom and just have the thing here floating in the air. I have to use that big yellow thing. Eventually, though, I'll save up enough to buy a proper. So what I'm doing right now, I'm actually mixing leaded solder with unleaded solder so that it's easier to melt, and then I'm gonna go around and remove it. Awesome. It's cleaned. Let's clean it up. Alright, I'm just doing a small cleanup right now. The flux actually went all over the place when I put some flux on there, and I hate it when it goes all over the place, honestly. Just makes it look like very sloppy work, which I am going to have to clean this up afterwards a whole lot better. But for right now, let's concentrate on this Retimer chip. We are going to have to put some more flux on here either way. Okay. So for now, we're going to concentrate on this chip. That looks way too bright for you guys. Let me see if I can lower it down a bit. Oh, menu. Oh, look at that. What? This entire time, I did not know I could do that. Wow. This entire time, I honestly did not know that I could actually zoom out. And you guys see exactly what I'm seeing. Why was it all the way zoomed in the first place? Learn something new. Okay, menu, exposure, let's put -2 maybe. Does it look better? I think it does. It looks less bright and it looks clear for me. Awesome. I did not know I could do that, man. I learned something new, honestly. That's much better, a better view for you guys. There we go. Alrighty, let's go ahead and put some solder on this thing. First, some flux. Okay, we'll clean it up right afterwards. But overall, it looks like we've got plenty of solder on here. The only one I'm kind of concerned is this one at the very end. Let me use this tinier one. Okay. Alrighty. We've got solder. Now what we need to do is get the chip. Alright, the chip is in the right orientation. We're going to heat it up. Before we do that though, let's put a little bit more flux on here. You can never go wrong with more flux. Alright, looks like we've got it on. Now we have to do is press down on it to get the excess solder out. There we go. We got the excess solder out. Now we go around, clean it up, and we validate. Awesome. And now we're just gonna throw a little bit more heat on there just to make sure that the legs are flown in there properly. And then we'll do some cleanup. Alrighty. Now we try to clean with some isopropyl alcohol while it's still hot. That way the solder comes with the Q-tip before it dries up. All right, let's go ahead and test the legs to see if everything's functioning, that nothing's bridged, and also that it is functioning real quick. I don't hear any beeps as of now. Oh man, are these two bridged? I think they're supposed to be bridged. I think so. I think they go to the same one, same pad. So that one's good. Let me turn it around. So far, so good. I'm only checking a few. I'm not checking every single one. Except I'm checking every single one to make sure that they're not bridged. So far, so good. I believe that's actually installed properly. Let me go ahead and put the Xbox One X together, and then we'll test. Other than that, the retimer chip has been replaced. I'm gonna have to clean. Actually, I'm not gonna clean it just yet. I'll take it back apart right afterwards. Trying to remember exactly how this thing went. I think it went like, did it go like that? That is exactly how it went. Alrighty. Everything's in there. And this should function if the retimer chip is fixed. So we're just going to temporarily put these on. Alrighty. So as long as the retimer chip is actually fixed, this here should be working. Get here the HDMI cable. HDMI cable. We're going to use the one that's currently plugged in. Power cord. Oh. Power cord's on. HDMI is on. Let's see if this is going to turn on. This is going to be test bench 3. Let's see if it actually switches. It's upside down right now. There we go. Woo! I'm not sure if you guys can actually see it there. I will block out the customer's name, but the retimer chip is put on. We got image and it's working. Awesome, and that's what we were looking for. All right, so this job is basically done. Let's go ahead and put it back together. Alrighty, so this job is practically done. Let's go ahead and get this Xbox put back together. We'll test one last time, and we'll be set. put back together except for the top portion of the case. What we're going to do is actually test before we put the top case to make sure that everything works from CD, Wi-Fi, the wireless antenna for the control, and also that sync button, power button, all that it actually functions. So ready or not, here we go. I just heard the fan spin. Heard the fan spin. Let's turn it on. No power? Oh, I didn't press it hard enough. Let's see if we see anything on the screen. Hopefully we do. There we go. Okay. Thus far is working. It's coming on. We're going to test that everything's functioning before we put it back together, put the top case back on. Awesome. All right, first things first, we do need to get a controller synced to it. So I've got my controller here. I'm going to turn it on. Turn on the sync button. Sync button. Come on. Controller for some reason is not connecting to it now. Now I'm gonna check to see if it loses connection if I get far away from it. We'll make sure that it doesn't lose connection. Okay, I'll walk pretty far away back. Did not lose connection, so that's good. Game is still, I think it's still updating. Or maybe it finished, I'm not sure. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's still updating. Let's go ahead and let it finish update. So it only took me about 4.5 hours to actually get this console ready. Updates and all that needed to be done on this console just to test the game. It finally finished. We're done. The only thing that was not working with this console is the sync button. It does require a replacement sync button for it. I don't have one. I'd have to order one. But we were able to get it done. And yeah, it's fixed. He is able to play. If he wants to sync a controller, all he has to do is plug in a USB to the controller. It'll sync on the back of the controller or the front. It'll sync and he'll be set. For those of you that actually stayed in tune and watch my videos, thank you very much. Go ahead and hit the like button on my video. Hit the subscribe button as well for future videos as well. And yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much, guys and gals. Thank you very much. I'll be seeing you on my next video. Thanks, guys. Peace.